Hey everyone, Tommy from TechNexus, and thanks for joining me on today's video, the fourth in my weekly series all about Revit. Now, yesterday we went through the structural portions of the structure tab, and today I wanted to continue on because I thought there was enough to talk about within the structure side of things, to talk about structure for one day and then concrete and reinforcement for another. Now, if this is the sort of thing that you do, you've got some rebar options, area, reinforcement, paths, and having a look at the, sketching the boundary of a fabric area to populate with sheets, and a few other options there as well. But today, I just wanted to have a look at a couple of things: the area, the path, and the rebar, and how we can even visualize them. Now, I've already changed my concrete here to have a transparency on it, and you can do that by right-clicking on it and then adjusting this transparency slider. So I'm going to put it back to 0 just to see that this is now, we can't see anything inside or underneath it. And if I was to put some, let's put in a structural path on this. Okay, and then tick that. Now if I switch to 3D, we can't see it. We can see the outline of it, but I can't actually see the inside of that concrete. So if you wanted to represent these in views, you can right click on it and override the transparency just for that object. Okay, and then we can also set it up so we're in shaded mode. I can also have a look at the visibility state for this and say view it as a solid, and now we can actually see that path there as well. Also, for visualization, I can pick on one of these, and similar to what I did before, I can override just that element, and I can make it, let's make it red. Okay, so now in my 3D view, I've got some red reinforcement and gray, but if I wanted to change the gray as well, I can change it and just show in another direction. We're going to have green. Okay, and then that way it might be easier for people to sort of see what's going on. The red's going one way, the green's going the other. Again, it'll just come to you as you need it for that project and how you want to see things as well. You can make up all sorts of camera views and whatever else, so you can have one that's always going to be shown without any transparency, and another view maybe with half transparency, and whatever else you need to for your project. So that's the path option. For area, I'm going to do the same thing, but just click on the area, and then it says again which floor you want to do. And then I'm just going to do the rectangle command, so to go from one corner or from the middle to the other corner, and then go OK. So same thing, we have R6 at 300, and if I switch to my 3D view, come over here, we'll need to do the same thing. So we've already put transparency on the concrete itself. I just need to adjust the values for this area, the area fabric. So we've turned on the solid option, and you can see there we can actually dive in and see how that all looks. Okay, and like we did before, I can go through and change each, that one, that's the one I want. So I can override the material for it, so do solid, and let's do cyan. And again, you can see we can change all of those colors. So now the third option that I wanted to have a look at today was the rebar. So I've got a structural column in here that I've already done and placed some rebar in, and I've got it in there as a fixed number at 50. So we can do things like change it to 25, and then it all adjusts between those. So to do that, I'm going to go to level 1. And I want to just stick a concrete column out here in the middle of the whoop. By default, for this template, so this is the out of the box template. I've got 3 concrete columns in here, 3 by 450, 450 by 6, and 6 by 750. I'm just going to leave it at the 6 by 750. And before I do that, I just want to show that when on the first click it's level 1 and the second click it's level 2. So what that means is if my first click is here and second click is there, if I switch to 3D, you can see that's what it's going to do. Okay, so if that's the kind of thing you need to, that can be a way to do it. So level 1, I'm not going to put any offsets in, so I'm just going to click on the first point, click on the second point, and then I get a vertical column. Okay, now going back to do the rebar, excuse me, I click on the rebar button, and then over here we need to have a look at these before we obviously start placing anything. The rebar shapes will load. If you have custom ones, you'll obviously have to load them as well, but I'm just going to do the HT for now. You can sketch it. You've got freeform rebar on different geometry, on which work plane, and whether it's parallel to work planes to covers or perpendiculars. And I'm going to do a fixed number, and I'm going to do 50 like I did before. And then I just pick the column, and you can see I can go through and adjust where the hook is, and then that's it. And now if I switch to 3D view, same thing, we've got that rebar set up there. And like we did before, is select it, click on the visibility states, and turn on view as solid. And there you have it. And like we did before, I'm just going to override the view. Let's do solid fill again, but let's make it yellow. Okay. And then there it is. So for placing it on sheets, I want to do a new sheet. So this is just the out of the box one again. And then just drag my level 1 view. Okay, and you can see there we've got it all in there. You can go through and obviously just adjust the settings. So if we come here, you know, you've got all the different graphic overrides, any other display options, color schemes, all of that kind of stuff, any of the view range. But ultimately you can see here, you can start presenting this on a sheet as you would normally. And then even if we wanted to do another sheet, go OK, and then drag my 3D view into this. Okay, so you can see here we've got that yellow appearing on that 3D view for that rebar. So when you do present it on a sheet, people will be able to see you know, any of the reinforcing that you've got inside slabs, inside columns, anything else. And obviously you just have to go through and do different views in here. So if we go back to level 1, we can make other camera views, any other sections and call outs and whatever else we need to generate the 3D views or sections in here, which we can ultimately place on the sheets as well. Like I showed you before, if I click on the view, I can adjust any of the annotation as well here, so I can turn all of the annotation on or off. Any other analytical categories, I don't usually have them on, but again, it'll just be dependent on what you or the client will need to place this information onto a sheet here as well. So hopefully that's gone through and answered some questions. I did want to also talk about the structural precast add-in, and having a quick look around online and on the forums. If you're on 2019, there's another menu up here in the ribbon called Precast. So for 2020, that hasn't come out yet, and by all accounts, people just say just sit tight and wait, and it should hopefully be not too far away to do your precast panels. But I think maybe for now that's all I'll cover. I might do precast maybe in 2019 at a future video, but for now the last 2 days we've gone through the structural options here, some of the concrete and the fabrication options here. All of this structural side here, under the steel tab here, they are, again, they're things you could use if you were so inclined within Revit, but ultimately you'll just have to work out, is it easier just to do it in advanced steel and have a DWG automatically populate with those details rather than inside a Revit file. But every project is different, and every project will have different requirements and needs and wants and whatever else comes up on the project. So anyway, I think that's enough of my yammering. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you do have any comments, please make them in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer them, or you can find me on LinkedIn under my full name or under the company Tech Nexus, and I'm happy to take any messages there as well. And then we can have a bit of a one-on-one, or we can even propose doing some training as well. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for some Revit and systems, doing ductwork, pipe, and anything else we can come up with. So see you later.